Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for May of 2025. We are going to jump right in here, Capricorn. You have this skunk card. It says, know your worth. You have this coyote spirit. It says, trust in divine detours. Definitely a time of worth for Capricorn. I would say believing in yourself is going to be very important, and especially if there's something specific that you want, because I feel for Capricorn that it's what you've been trying to conquer in your life is that little voice in the back of your head that says you can't do something, or you shouldn't do something, or whatever. So I would be careful of that little voice in the back of your head that says you can't do this, you can't do that. I would definitely trust in divine detours for sure with that coyote spirit. If it's kind of like spiritual flat tire energy. If there's a spiritual flat tire, I would trust it, and I would just kind of be more go with the flow type of energy. If something doesn't work out for you, or if something doesn't go in the right direction, trust that energy. I'll tell you a story. A couple years ago, right after COVID, during COVID, I moved home from Seattle. I was living in Seattle at the time. I moved home, and then after COVID, I moved back to Seattle. But before that, I had to go look for a house, and so my brother and I flew out to Seattle to look for a house. And we were driving, and we see a cat chasing a mouse, right, which was weird. And then right after we saw that, we saw this coyote on the side of the road. And I was feeling weird that whole time. And during that time, our first flight got canceled. We were staying in this hotel, and our flight got canceled, so we went back home. We changed our flight. All these things happened, right? And then when we were there, we see this coyote. And then I got COVID when we were there, which was a disaster. So it's and really, I realized that we probably shouldn't have moved back because I saw the coyote, right? And so then we moved again. And yeah, it's one of those weird things in life where it's there were all these signs that I shouldn't have done it, right? And so I would really trust those divine detours, those things that kind of come up. You have the Lovers, the Hermit, and the Six of Swords. Could be love coming in for you with the Lovers. You don't have a ton of love here, but you do have some cards. So, for you, as always, I think, love is always available to us if we want it. But there could be a strong connection that is coming in for you. I think maybe the problem is two things, actually. I think that it's probably the Five of Wands and also the Hermit. The Five of Wands is conflict or competition, so you could be interested in a person where maybe you feel like there's competition, or maybe there is a lot of competition for the person. The problem with the Hermit is that you have to, this person has to know you exist. So the Hermit says you have to shine your inner light. So if you are interested in a person, I would do something, which I feel like I've said to you before, Capricorn. So definitely, if you're interested in a person, I would make yourself known. Could be a fire sign. You have the King of Wands and the Emperor here, so could be a fire sign or an emperor type person. It could be a very fiery person as well. The Hermit, it's your time to shine, Capricorn. I'm not trying to be dramatic with this, but again, a lot of your readings kind of talk about you taking your place in the world, standing on top of the world, showing the world what you're made of, but you have to do it, is the thing. And so the Hermit, he's been through a dark night of the soul, and he has this star in his lantern here, but he needs to shine that lantern out all over the place. So it's time for him to really go for it. It's time for him to really put his skills on display and make things happen. So he needs to get out of hermit mode. And I definitely feel that for you, where it's time to shine. But you have to do it. I'm not saying you will shine, because if you don't do anything, then you won't, right? So I would make sure that you're standing out. You have the Six of Swords. I do feel general improvements. I'm doing this video on April 19th. It will be published on the 20th. So a lot of you could, right now, at the end of April, if you're watching this early, could already be seeing some improvements coming in. Again, I'm not saying things are perfect, but you could be, things could be pushing a little bit more in the right direction. The other thing I'm getting here is with the Hermit, is that if you come down from the mountain, which is, I believe that's what the Hermit needs to do. It's very tempting to stay in isolation, especially if you've been hurt or if you've been through something. But I believe he needs to come down from the mountain and show the world what he's made of. Now, the Six of Swords, this woman and the child, they're still in choppy waters. So, things won't be perfect, is what I feel like the Six of Swords is saying. It's if you choose to kind of move forward on this journey where you shine your inner light, or you show something, your skills off, or something like that, it's it won't necessarily be a perfect journey, but it might be, there might be some bumps on the road along the way, but you will be fine and you will be moving towards something better. So I really feel the universe is trying to push Capricorn towards like a better life, but it's a better life that you create. You have to be the one to make it happen, and that's what I would do here. With the lovers, here you go. You have the Empress. So we have the Empress and the Emperor right here. Definitely could be a divine counterpart for those of you that want it. You could be worried about competition and also change, with the Seven of Pentacles as well. I think I said this in your last reading with the Seven of Pentacles that, sometimes if you're with a person, it does require some sort of change, right? You're obviously, if you get with a person, you live with them, then there's going to be a big change. You're living with a person. So, again, there could be some sort of change that is required here. The Empress is also a great card for abundance. On top of that, if you don't want love, and even if you do, I do like readings that have the Emperor and the Empress together because they kind of represent balancing your like masculine and feminine energy, your like creative side, but also taking action on what you're trying to create. So I do feel pretty good about that as well. Excuse me. With the Hermit, you have the Temperance card. Temperance is about mixing things together, but Temperance, he is trying to turn water into wine here. And sometimes I feel like he's trying to be too perfect. And he has this path behind him. This is called the path to glory. There's this glowing crown in the background here. And he could easily just get off on that path and start working towards the crown. So I kind of feel that for you here, Capricorn, where it's like saying, there's nothing more that you have to wait for. There's nothing more that you have to like do. It's just time to get started. And I know that I always say that to you, but really it is. With the Six of Swords, you have the Five of Pentacles. It's like I do feel this fear for Capricorn as well because it's like a weird time. We had Pluto leave Capricorn. We have all this like other stuff going on in the astrology, and I think for Capricorn, it's like Capricorn is being asked to let go of their old life and to create a new life. Like you're the only sign that's really being asked to like let go of the old way of doing things. And this can make you feel off balance or like your future doesn't have security. It's like you're being pushed to move on to calmer shores. But at the same time, you could be saying to yourself, like, what if I make this change and I'm not supported? Or what if I make this change and there's no safety net? And really, there is no good answer because there is no safety net in life. I always say this to people. It's like you could get hit by a bus tomorrow. There are people die every single day in like the weirdest ways. So, to me, there's nothing to worry about because it's like you really can't control anything. A meteor could fall out of the sky and, your chances of that happening are like 1 in quintillion, right? But it could happen. So it's like, why worry about anything, really? But what I would say here is like, this is exactly what you need to do is like face the fear of like something that really isn't secure, moving on from it and creating something that is more secure. This could be in finances. This could be, I think it is financial, mostly for Capricorn, because I think you're being asked to kind of, change something financially. And that's what I would do here because it's going to be more secure in the long run. Next, you can't make this up, Capricorn. In the area of what's coming in for you, you have this card. What do you need to release? You have this card that says, have faith in your dreams. Yes, you need to have faith in what you are doing because that's where the success will come from. But there's the old ways are what needs to be released. Again, it's kind of hard for me to describe, but I definitely feel it for Capricorn that it's like the fear of making the wrong decision or like the fear of like knowing that something right now isn't working as well as something could. But it's potential. Potential is scary because potential means nothing, right? So that Six of Swords and the Five of Pentacles is really saying a change has a lot of potential, but going through that change is the scary thing, right? You have the Five of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Three of Swords. The Five of Wands can represent conflict or competition. Like I said, I feel if you are interested in a person that you could be worried about competition, but I don't know. You have the Empress, it's like, and the Emperor. So, it's like there is attraction here, or there will be if you haven't met this person yet. And I wouldn't really, it's not something I would be concerned with. The other thing is, I think that there is a lot of opportunity in competition for you, as in, if they're like in work, in business, you really have the opportunity to stand out above the competition, but probably through like unique solutions or, unique opportunities. Sorry, my allergies are crazy today, so I'm just going to keep sneezing here, Capricorn, but I apologize. Anyway, again, I think that there could be a lot of good opportunity for you, or there could be a lot of good growth opportunity, especially with this Seven of Pentacles coming up right here. Next, you have the King of Wands. King of Wands is about, being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. And, that's going to be kind of your secret sauce at this time. And sorry, I must have whacked that. But the King of Wands is about really going for what you want. You could be attracting a very bold, assertive person with the King of Wands. Again, he is. It could be a fire sign. Fire definitely stands out to me in this reading as far as people are concerned. But it could be any sign. Just in general. The other thing about the King of Wands is the King of Wands should give you confidence. He has these salamanders on his cloak, this little lizard right here. So it's supposed to be a salamander, and salamanders represent protection from fire. So the King of Wands is protected from risk, and there is a risk right here that you're taking up to the Seven of Pentacles. So I feel like the risk goes this way, and it's saying you're taking a risk to change something in your life. And the King of Wands, like I said, should give you confidence that the risk, that it will be worth it. You have the Three of Swords. This could be you healing from, past connections. I definitely feel that Capricorn probably, if this is talking about love, has had some difficult connections or some connections that caused issues. And, I think that, especially love relationships haven't necessarily been easy for Capricorn. Could have been a lot of life lessons, a lot of, things that came up in those connections. And the Three of Swords is about forgiveness. We don't have to forgive a person directly, but to solve the Three of Swords, we just have to forgive people in our heart, and then we can move forward. And that's what I would do with that Three of Swords. With the Five of Wands, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, Nine of Wands is the Wounded Warrior. It's do I want to do something again? That's literally the question that's popping into my head with the Nine of Wands. And you are the sign of perseverance. So I think it would be worth it for you to do something again. I'm not saying this isn't you going back to an ex, but you could be trying love again. This isn't necessarily you starting the same business that failed in the past. This is you just trying business again, And I feel that's part of the thing that you have to do here to get what you truly want. I really get a feeling of needing to not settle, with that Six of Swords as well. It's there's something weird about that Six of Swords. I wish I could describe it better. Like I said, there's a little bit of fear of letting go of a safety net. It's maybe you have a job and you want to start a business, and it's the fear of letting go of that security of the job and starting something else. So again, I kind of feel like this is saying don't settle on something that's less than what you want. With the King of Wands, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is about being enthusiastic and optimistic, which I would be. I would definitely be careful of your mindset, Capricorn, at this time. I think that pretty much everyone should right now, but Capricorn is one of the top signs right now that I think really needs to be careful of where their mind is going and what they're focusing on, just so you can make sure that you have a good future, right? That's pretty much it with that card. With the Three of Swords, you have the Three of Swords. Yes, definitely something that needs to heal. We go up here to the Four of Swords. So, the Four of Swords is resting, relaxing, recovering, hoping and praying for blessings, all that other good stuff. But, really it's a card of healing. So I would make sure you're healing from the things that you need to heal from. Next, in the area messages from your future self, you have the sun and the clouds. This is in the Gilded Lenormand, and this could represent great clarity coming in for you at this time. The clouds is normally confusion, but the sun kind of burns away the clouds. So a lot of you could be getting great clarity in life, or you could be understanding the direction you need to move in life more, and that would obviously be a good thing with these two cards. I also kind of feel you're getting some answers in life, which, again, I also think is pretty good. You have the Seven of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, and the Two of Wands. This is kind of where I'm getting that settling and energy here, Capricorn. I'm not saying you are going to settle, but he's looking at these Seven Pentacles and he's saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it for me to keep investing my time, effort, energy into these Seven Pentacles, or is there something better? I think in a lot of ways it's a magnet for Capricorn. It's almost impossible, I think, for Capricorn to not feel a pull in a certain direction right now. in your life, and that could be the direction of more. And this isn't like a materialism thing, this isn't a greed thing, it's about your capabilities. It's like, if you're capable of creating more in your life, then I believe as humans we're meant to grow as much as possible. We're not meant to be limited. And I think this is about you kind of reaching your full potential. But at the same time, there's a little bit of fear that I feel in the reading about doing that. But I would also encourage you to do it. You have the Four Swords. Four Swords is about hoping and praying for blessings. There's a person right here who's blessing another person in this window, and he's kind of like hoping and praying for a blessing. So a lot of you, I think, have been asking for things, from the universe, or trying to manifest things in your life. I feel like you're close, but again, I think that healing would be very good for you with that Three of Swords, like watching your thoughts, watching the things that you say about the things you want. It's like, a lot of people, they say that they want love, but then they just keep telling the story about everybody who cheated on them. It's like, you have to stop telling that story if you want to truly be in alignment with what you want. And the Four of Swords, I feel, and also the Three of Swords is kind of saying that. Same thing with like action as well. It's like, people can say they want to manifest money, but then they don't do anything to make it, right? And we go up here to the Emperor, and so the Emperor is kind of like saying you need to take action on what you want to be successful. And that, that's what I would do with the Emperor. You have the Two of Wands. Yeah, definitely time to like leave your old castle behind. And I feel like I've said this to you a million times as well, Capricorn. He's standing in his castle. The story of this card is that he rushed to a finish line and he didn't enjoy the process. He didn't really enjoy the journey. This is giving me, like, I'm getting like Back to the Future vibes. It wouldn't surprise me, Capricorn. And you tell me in the comments if you have had thoughts over the past like year or so where you say, like, if I wish I could just go back 10 years and know what I know now. I kind of get that feeling on the Two of Wands, where it's like you're wishing that you could go back in time and kind of like do things over. But the Two of Wands says, like, hey, you've built what you've built right now. He's built this castle, and he's looking off into the future, and he has the whole world in his hands. And it's like, yeah, maybe you can't go back in time, but you can build what you want now. You can get started on building something new. He thinks he knows everything. He thinks that there's nothing more for him to do, but he's looking at things from a limited perspective. He's only looking at things from the top of his castle. He's not looking into the world. So I think that getting out into the world, touching some grass here, Capricorn, would be a good activity this month of May for you. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Wands. Really good. Eight of Wands is quick movement and quick success. You might be surprised at how quickly something moves forward for you once you like put the effort in, especially if you're working on something new. This could also be communication. If you want love or if you're looking for a connection, you could be communicating with a new person. With the Four of Swords, here you go. You have the Queen of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. So we have the King and Queen of Wands right here. These two are divine counterparts, of course. Queen of Wands is my card of learning as you go. So a lot of you could be like learning how to do things as you move forward. The Queen of Wands is about, being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. The Queen of Wands and the King of Wands, they have like a little bit of a kind of like a visionary idea for life. And that's popping into my head for some reason. Like the King of Wands, he kind of has foresight a little bit, and he is kind of like innovative. He is a little bit visionary with his ideas. And so if you have any visionary ideas, this could be like the perfect mix of energy for you to accomplish those ideas. The Nine of Pentacles is like very common right now energetically. I feel like no one else has really been, getting this message, but just looking at the astrology, it is kind of weird that I think that some people could be saying that they want a relationship, for example, but they could also be saying, but like, I've been enjoying my independence, right? So it's kind of like one of those things. I feel a lot of people could kind of be going back and forth and like saying, I want a relationship, but it's like, do I really want someone to, interrupt my bachelor time where I watch The Bachelor every single night and, I eat 40 pounds of ice cream, right? It's like, do you want someone to get into that space? I don't know. The answer is yours. It's like, life is all about trade-offs, right? And so I think that this could be you thinking about your independence. With the Two of Wands, you have the Four of Swords again. So again, resting, relaxing, recovering. It might just be a good chill month, Capricorn. It might be just a good time for you to like stop and smell the roses, touch some grass. Like I said, it might be a good time for you to like plan what you want for the future and like think about it and pray about it or ask about it and all those other things. So I feel chill in this reading, so you might just be feeling pretty chill in the month of May. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Treasure Island card, which is great. This card is the As Above, So Below card in this deck. You also have this Deep Knowing card as well. Yeah, if there's something, like I said, magnetic, there is like this magnetic pull towards something in your life. I don't think it's like a relationship or a business. I think it's, it could include all of those things I just mentioned. It's like a big vision. It's like your kingdom, like I said on that Two of Wands, like you're building a new kingdom, not just a castle, but like a new everything in your life. And I feel like there is, if you have that knowing, you need to go for it, whatever it is. The Treasure Island card again is As Above, So Below. So you have to be in alignment to get what you want with that Treasure Island card, and as long as you are, things will go well. You have the Emperor, the Six of Cups, and the Five of Cups. The Emperor could be you attracting an Emperor and Empress into your life. I do feel like action would be good this month as well, even though you do have a lot of stuff that says like resting, relaxing, recovering would be a good idea for you. Obviously life is about balance. You can't just be a slug for the rest of your life laying around doing nothing. Well, you could, but the results probably, wouldn't be very great. So, take, even if you're just taking small actions, like again, this, I would say a majority of the energy here is like rest, relax, get your vision clear. But like if you feel like taking action, do it. And you will be happy that you did, So it's like one of those things with the Emperor. You have the Six of Cups. Sometimes I feel with the Six of Cups, it's just talking about forward movement. Six of Cups can be innocence, nostalgia, can represent thinking about the past, things like that. It is your inner child, and I definitely feel we're in a time where being more playful would be a great idea for most people. But this could also say that, sometimes I feel the Six of Cups is like a gift from the universe, and the gift we usually receive from this card is forward movement. So you could feel like things are moving forward in a better way. You have the Five of Cups. Again, the whole entire reading says you're like letting something go, and you could be being grateful for what you do have, which is these two cups, which leads to the bridge and the castle, your new castle here, Capricorn. It's almost like you're finding a new castle or a new kingdom. It's not like it's going to happen overnight because you're building this. Like I said, with the Two Wands, he's already built a castle, but now he has to go build a new one. So it's like you're putting the bricks into place, and you're building something new. But I think you're on the journey, right? With the Emperor, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, if this is love, this Ace of Pentacles, I look at as the path to marriage. So, if this is a person in love, you definitely could be like marrying this person in the future, or at least the potential exists. The Ace of Pentacles is like an opportunity that has a lot of potential. So I like to see that. With the Six of Cups, you have the Four of Cups here. Four of Cups, again, that fear of disappointment, it's coming up in the good stuff. So I'm not too worried about it. But that Six of Swords, again, I wish I could get a better message going on that Six of Swords and that Five of Pentacles, but I can't. So, we'll just leave it at that. But, there's something about that, about like the fear of leaving behind a safety net or, leaving behind a comfort zone. And the Four of Cups is like the fear of disappointment. He's been disappointed 3 times before, and he's not accepting this new cup into his life because he's afraid that he'll be disappointed again. But it's almost like the reading is saying you have to take the risk of being disappointed to have something you want. That's life. And, that's what I would do here. With the Five of Cups, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is about planting seeds, and it's about, in the good stuff, it does represent progress. So I do feel a lot of you are at least going to be making progress, which we kind of already know because you have the Six of Swords here. So, you probably are just making progress in general. You have this Scissors card. It says disappointment in some affair. Again, don't be disappointed if there is a disappointment. I gave you the coyote story, right? So, just trust that if something at like right now, again, today's April 19th. So this will be out on the 20th if you're watching it before May. If there's some sort of something that has been a disappointment, you're being led in a better direction. You have this Dark Man. It says dealings with relationships with a man with dark complexion or hair. You have this Weeping Willow. It says family sorrow. I kind of feel that Capricorns have dealt with some sort of family sadness, probably since the beginning of COVID, like between, 2019 and now. If we look at Capricorn's astrology, Capricorn could have experienced a loss of a family member, or some other family issue. I would say the good news is that you could be healing that with the 3 of Swords, 4 of Swords, all this other stuff coming up. I'm kind of cheating a little bit because based off your astrology, it just wouldn't surprise me. You have this Peacock card. It says, beware of great pride. Yeah, I think everybody needs to pay attention to evidence right now. We had Mars go retrograde in Leo, and Mars will be clearing the retrograde shadow like May 2nd or 3rd, so right at the beginning of May, but Mars will still be in Leo. So I think people need to be careful of kind of like people who are too prideful or who are too cocky. It's like one thing for a person to be cocky if they can back it up. Is that really cockiness, right? Like if a person seems cocky but they can actually do what they say, is that really confidence? Is that really cockiness, or is it really just confidence, right? But if a person is just being cocky and they can't do what they say, I would be careful of that. You have this pin card, new job or career. There you go. The whole entire reading basically says that you could be getting a new job or career. You have the Sun card. It says happiness and well-being. This is what I would focus on with the 4 of Swords, is your own happiness, and the 9 of Pentacles as well. I would be focusing on your own happiness, your own joy, things that, the things that bring you peace in life. That's what I would be focusing on this month. But this looks pretty good. Chill reading. I would say it has a chill vibe to it, so I think it'll be a chill month. Maybe not overly exciting, but chill. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.